What if all the self-development, all the self-improvement gurus, what if they're just self-righteous liars? Think of Hamza Imangadzi, The Wizard Liz, Chris Williamson, Jay Shetty, Mel Robbins, Mark Manson. What if they're all just self-righteous liars? Yeah, I know all these creators are honestly very different from each other. What if all your mentors, what if your teachers, your parents, society just lies to you and they unfairly judge you for something that's completely outside of your control, your own success, your actions? How can we judge anyone for their actions if free will doesn't exist? How can society have so much conviction on something that scholars, psychology scholars, philosophers, how can society have so much conviction on a topic that is very heavily debated? The average person just lives as if free will exists. And in a way, that's good, but it also makes us less empathetic. It makes us less likely to acknowledge the difficulty of change. And it doesn't have to be you. Why I am deeply passionate in this topic because I consumed a ton of self-improvement content over the years, but it just didn't work for me. I was so down bad. Literally, I couldn't take action because I felt like free will didn't exist. Of course, you can argue that it's about dopamine and motivations and desires and my lack of sleep and bad diet, and I don't know, I had some type of trauma. But you could also argue my bad dopamine, my trauma, all of that made me not have free will. So what does this mean? I'm screwed? I'm gonna have a bad life? No. I'm gonna be honest with you and say that, first of all, I choose to believe in free will because it serves me, but also my time debating it has also served me and made me change. I went deep into why I couldn't do certain things, and overall there's a lot of science that I didn't go deep into the science. Because I was lazy, I just like reasoned in my own head and came up with my own excuses. And at the end of the day, and I still believe this is true, my own human logic just came to the conclusion that we are simply acting according to our programming all the time, and our programming isn't up to us. I don't even know if us, the self, exists. And by the way, I consider myself Christian. I know this is weird, I'm debating free will as a Christian, but that's a topic for another video, okay? So why do I say that we don't necessarily have to have a bad life if free will doesn't exist? Because like I said earlier, we're just our programming. And maybe right now you're becoming the type of person that can be programmed by self-development content. It's not going to erase, hold on, are you 18 years old? It's not going to erase 18 years of programming, but it will plant seeds in your head. And some of these seeds will grow. It will grow for some people, it won't grow for others. But I'm honestly just so tired of people being so self-righteous over their own discipline, over their own morality. I hate all type of judgment all the time. It's not even just you can't judge someone if you haven't walked a mile in their shoes. It's you can't judge someone unless you've walked every single mile they have ever walked in their same shoes, in their same skin, in their same city, in their same everything. There are too many factors. You guys have heard the butterfly effect, where one little thing can create a completely different outcome. That is so true. You know, when people debate the worst of humanity, there are people that feel empathy towards them, and I would be a liar if I said I didn't feel empathy and sometimes wanted to defend the worst of humanity. I will condemn their actions, but I will never condemn the person. A lot of people come up with the counter argument and say that I had a bad childhood and I didn't murder a bunch of people. So having a bad childhood isn't an excuse. Technically, I believe if there's a reason, it's an excuse. Whether you deem it to be a valid excuse, it's a whole different subject. But just because two people had a bad childhood, or just because two people were bullied, doesn't mean the bullying was the same, doesn't mean they had the same circumstances. There are a million different circumstances that contribute to someone being someone, plus their genetics. The people simply didn't have the same genetics. Someone might have had one friend, someone might have had no friends. Someone might have had a lot of friends that didn't like them. Someone might have had this one stranger on the street compliment their shirt, and that planted a seed in their head, created a butterfly effect moment, and that saved them from murdering a bunch of people. That's how it works. But whatever, we want to change. What does this have to do with changing? You have to acknowledge how hard it is to change, and how there's so much programming, and realize that the only way to fully change is to be someone else, to be a new person with new programming. How do you become this person with new programming? And why should you listen to me? I've changed my beliefs. Hold on, I'm just gonna give you a little bit of my achievements, even though I'm not like a super crazy billionaire, or I'm not going to the club and bagging all the 10 out of 10s. I do have a beautiful girlfriend / fiance / wife. I call her my wife because we're in it for life. I've drunk a gallon of water every day for 2,000 days in a row by now. I go to the gym consistently. I've lost 50 pounds once in my life. I've lost 30 pounds like 3 times in my life. I work every day. I have my own business, coffee catering for corporate events in Miami. It started off pretty slow, but we're getting traction. And I'm a college dropout. I shouldn't have said that, because me being a college dropout isn't a good reason for you to listen to me. Maybe it's a reason you shouldn't listen to me. I don't know. Or we don't know anything. We're just humans who act according to our own programming. So what are you gonna do? I want this video to be, as much as it can be, a seed that's planted in your head that gets you thinking. If your future is already predestined, now this video that you're watching right now is something that contributed to that predestined future. And I hope I can influence a lot of you. I hope I'm someone that is in your journey, so that you have the programming required to have a good destiny. I'd be lying if I didn't think some of you are going to be miserable even though you watch this video, even though you consume self-improvement content. And I feel bad for stripping away hope, but that's the truth. And if you think that's the truth, try not to. I want to also plant the seed in your head to think about only thinking thoughts that serve you. Honestly, if you're the type of person that watched this video and thought, oh, I guess I'm screwed, you're right, it's not really up to me, you could be technically true, but the truth is overrated. I know I said that I'm making this video and that I'm being quite pessimistic, but it's okay because it's the truth. I maybe take it back a little, because I believe the truth is overrated. I believe that what is better for you and the world is better than the truth. In most cases, truth is the best thing for the world. But no, I don't believe it's always, mostly because humans are like nowhere near good enough for truth. Maybe if we can find an absolute truth, maybe if we can have absolute certainty in a God, which I believe, not 100% certainty in God. I believe 100% certainty and conviction in anything is pride. It's a sin according to Christianity. But yeah, because we can't know anything for certain, conviction is the bad part of truth. Once we believe something to be true, we tend to have a lot of conviction in it. And conviction is the part that's more dangerous, not really the truth itself. So since you don't know what the truth is, try to think thoughts that serve you and beliefs that serve you and the world being happier and better, and you know what I mean. So what if free will doesn't exist? I know I went into a little bit of a mumbo jumbo, but honestly, frick it, man. Now that you got now that I planted the seed in your head that programming is hard and we all act according to our programming, just frick it, man. Just choose to believe in free will. Ignore all this deep stuff. I want to also plant the seed in your head that let me just believe in free will. I can do it. And just think thoughts that serve you. What do you think? If you want to hate on the comments, I can't stop you because free will doesn't exist, right? But I believe in free will, so I'm going to judge you because it was your choice. I'm so funny. God bless you. If you believe in love, then you already believe in God because God is love.